This is a shoe spinning by its laces. This is a shoe spinning on a block on top of my son Miles's head. This is a shoe that's not spinning at all. All three of these shoes have one thing in common.
Shoelaces?
Yes, all three of these shoes have shoelaces, and they belong to the same category of shoe.
Super trainers.
No other me, I just put that on the thumbnail for the algorithm. These shoes I call Mad Max Cushion, and today I'm gonna rank them 1 to 3. Welcome back. I am your host, Midlife Runner, and I'm your co-host, Other Midlife Runner. I just call you Other Me. No one likes you. Okay, before we get started, it is time for some disclosures. Nike, New Balance, Adidas, none of them sent me these shoes. They do not know I exist, and I try not to take that personal. I have never worked for Nike. I have never worked for New Balance. I have never worked for Adidas. None of my living family has ever worked for these shoe companies. I have a relatively small group of friends that most people would consider acquaintances by most definitions, and none of them have worked at any of the aforementioned brands. Dustin Machigamba kicked me in the 7th grade during a soccer scrimmage while I was laid out on the ground, and I'm pretty sure it was personal. He was wearing Nikes. Not the Invincibles. Not the Invincibles. I bought all three of these shoes with my own money, and almost all of the thoughts and opinions on these shoes are my own. However, none of the brands are gonna see this video before it posts, mostly on account of them not knowing that I exist. Also, my small group of acquaintances are not going to watch this video before it posts. My wife has a problem with spoiler alerts. If I may. You may. I hate spoiler alerts. I hate spoilers. I told my wife when we first got together, please just cheat on me. Cheat on me before you ever spoil the end of a movie. And so like when she goes to see a movie with her mom, say she goes to see Sisters, when she comes home, I'm like, what happened? Tell me the ending, because I know I'm not gonna watch the movie. I only wanna know the ending. How did Sisters end? So is she gonna watch the video before it publishes? She definitely isn't gonna watch this video before it publishes. Okay, now with those disclosures out of the way, let's get to the shoes. Okay, rather than the standard ranking of 1, 2, and 3, talking about uppers, midsoles, and outsoles, I really wanna focus on the ride of each shoe and the stability, because those are the two main components of Mad Max Cushion shoes. I also wanna talk about the drawbacks of each one and the draw forwards, sure. And then also the use case, like how I use each one of these shoes. Coming in at number 3, we have the Adidas Adios Prime X Strung 3. Coming in at number 3, we have the Adidas Prime X Strung. Right, my Adidas Prime X strung out, my strung theory. And you wonder why no one sends us shoes. For the stability of the Prime X, I would give it about a 2.7 out of 10. It's pretty wobbly, even just standing in it, and when I start to walk, I feel like my feet are permanently on the verge of rolling outward and losing an ankle. For the ride, on a scale of soft to firm, where 0 is soft and 10 is firm, I would say it's much more on the softer side. I'll give it a 3.257 out of 10. To note, all of these foams have a lot of bounce and energy return, which means you can run fast in them with relative ease. However, the foam for the Adidas Prime X Strung is relatively soft, which means there's not a ton of energy return for me. And you're just like slowly turning into SJD or what? For that reason, most of the 121 miles that I've put on this shoe, as far as use case goes, have been at slower recovery run paces. Before we get to shoe number 2, let's talk about this. I got a scale. Our wife got the scale. Listen, if you watching at home own a scale, you have a problem. With what? I have no idea, but I do know that it is serious. Some people who drink coffee have a scale. They also have a coffee problem. Myself, us, we have a shoe problem. The Prime X weighs 8.8 ounces in my men's US size 9. The Nike Invincible weighs 9.6 ounces in the same size. And the SC Trainer comes in at a whopping 10.6 ounces. Look, none of these shoes feel light on foot, and the longer that you run in them or the faster that you run, the heavier they feel. That being said, the use case for all of these shoes is mostly daily runs and also some training, but I would never race in them. On to shoe number 2. The Nike Invincible Run. For the stability, it's like a 4 out of 10, just below average. Unlike the Prime X, which is very unstable in one direction, you can roll your ankles in just about any direction in this shoe. He doesn't mean it, Nike. Send us some shoes, please. Okay, for the ride, I'm gonna give it a 6.73 on a 10 scale, where 0 is a pillow and 10 is a brick. Sure. Now it is soft enough to baby the feet a little bit. I'd say more so in the heel with all this foam than the forefoot, but it also has an incredible amount of bounce. All right, use case for me, I think the best use case for super bouncy shoes, especially on the heavier end, tend to be steezy paces / don't start. Look, steezy, I just mean steady, easy. So high zone 2 for me pace wise is kind of like 7:45 minutes a mile or 8 minutes a mile. The first few miles I feel like I'm just gliding along. I'm not putting in much force into each stride and the shoe's just bouncing back up underneath me and I'm just coasting. It feels great. In fact, for drawbacks, I would say it's difficult with so much bounce on recovery days to stay disciplined and to stay in recovery paces. Lastly, shoe number 3, call to action. Right, subscribe, please. My daughter, she needs a paint job, a midnight blue paint job on her 911 Turbo. Andrew, she's 12. Right, flick the like button because my middle child needs a ocular VR headset. No, yeah, he does. He does want one of those. Shoe number 3 is the New Balance SC Trainer. What? Are you gonna say it? Say what? Never mind. SC Trainer. There it is. The SC Trainer. Stability, 8 out of 10. But for a shoe with the 47mm stack, it's like a 10 out of 10. So the ride is a very firm bounce compared to the other shoes. I'm gonna give it a 7.98 out of 10. And I think that's what adds to some of the stability of the shoe, especially back here. Now, if this foam, this FuelCell foam, was a little bit softer, which it is in version 2, then I think the shoe would be less stable. Drawbacks, 10.6 ounces. She thick, which means if you are going to do some faster stuff, it makes the rep range go a little bit shorter. Draw forward is that if you do train in this shoe and because it's so heavy, when you put on your race day shoe, that should feel lighter. Mistake number 4. What are you talking about? This isn't a mistake video. I thought we were doing a mistake video. No, that's the next one. That's like how I've been messing up my off season. What's an off season? It's when you don't train for a race. Can't relate. Yeah, anyway, a running channel with a runner making a video about not running. I'm sure it's gonna go viral. Oh, banger for sure. Thank you for watching.